Yo, what up? Let's check this out here.
I'm sure they'll take advantage of it. I see driving a lot of cars into the U.S. to try and avoid the tariffs, and taking advantage of it a little bit. But they were they called me, they asked me, they said, could they have a little?
All right, so this is Trump taking questions from reporters.
This isn't just now. This built up and got worse and worse, and they just hire more and more people. You look at Department of Education, it seems like so many buildings I ride by, it says Department of Education. They're all over the place. And we don't even want it. We want the education to be given by the states. It'll be much better. It'll move us to the top of the list from the bottom of the list, and actually save us money. But
Yeah, I mean, the schools are obviously indoctrinating our kids. We see it with I got a stepdaughter. It's my girlfriend's longtime girlfriend's living girlfriend's daughter. So basically, stepdaughter, and she's actually, fortunately, very intelligent and very independent and very critical thinker. So you're able to at least converse with her and toss ideas back and forth. But you can tell by the way that she speaks and the way the ideas that have been put in her head that she's clearly been indoctrinated by these fucking crazy people, man, on that left wing party. Just absolutely lost their mind. The educators have lost their mind. Everybody gets a trophy. Nobody's ever wrong, and nobody gets bullied, and it's just it's sad. But fortunately, like I said, like these kids are breaking through that. They really are. Like I said, she'll listen, respectfully listen. She'll give feedback. She'll ask questions. She's actually very impressive. So, not all hope is lost.
not, it's too important to even talk about them. It'll save us a lot of money, but we don't want that. We want education to be given. So you go to Iowa and Indiana and Idaho and all these places that are so well run. They're going to be producing education that will be the equivalent of, like, Denmark is one, Norway, Sweden. Actually, China is one of the better in terms of education, and so we can't blame size anymore. China has 1.4 billion people, but they're high on the list. So one thing we're doing well on, we're number one on the list, is cost per pupil. We spend more money than any other country in the world by far. So I jokingly say the one thing we do well on is the cost. We spend more money, and yet we're toward the bottom of the list. Yeah.
Mr. President, I want to ask you, the joint address, millions of Americans watched your joint address earlier this week, where you warned that there could be a little disturbance that Americans could feel as a function of these taxes, these tariffs. How much disturbance are you willing to accept in the near term as a function of that? And to set expectations, how long should Americans expect things to cost a bit more?
Well, so far, Peter, there hasn't been very much because these numbers are coming out. We're here for just a little over 4 weeks. And these are fantastic
Ain't been
numbers.
long,
I was
dude.
watching some of the
I've only been
reports this
president
morning.
a
They were
couple weeks.
surprised. There could be some disturbance, a little bit of disturbance. I solved a little bit of that because I have respect for our auto companies, and I gave them a little bit of a 1 month reprieve because it was unfair. Although I'm sure they'll take advantage of it. I see they're driving a lot of cars into the U.S. to try and avoid the tariffs.
Imagine that.
Taking advantage of it a little bit, but
Imagine that.
they were.
Imagine that. Wow. So you're telling me that so I'm from Flint, Michigan. Well, was born in Flint. I grew up in a suburb, like not even 10 minutes away from Flint. My dad grew up in that area his whole life. My mom is from Detroit. So apparently back in like the early 90s, mid 80s, I think, somewhere around there, that place was like suburb living. If you go there now, the houses are Victorian style, beautiful homes, huge homes, 2,000, 3,000 square foot. I mean, absolutely beautiful, but they're run down and they're, basically trap houses now, or they've been turned into duplex, quadplex. I mean, some of them are so big where they literally have 4 different apartments in there, and there's an upstairs. You get the picture. So GM was huge in Flint. Flint was built off of GM, then the United Auto Workers. When they pulled out of Flint and moved to Mexico, moved all their plants to Mexico, basically, and pulled out of Detroit, that tanked the city. And when I say tanked the city, Flint is known for being like one of the most ratchet cities in the United States. It's like Flint, Gary, Indiana, Compton, Detroit. I mean, it's and it's a lot like a huge city like Detroit. I mean, it's small, so it made a huge impact, absolutely huge impact. The average person back in 1985 or like 1990, if you lived in Flint, you worked at GM pretty much, and you made what I would consider a six-figure salary. Now these days, probably translated into it, everybody was able to buy a home, and there was a man working for his whole family, able to provide a good life for his whole family. Both people had husband and wife had cars. They were able to put their kids through college, buy and pay off their home, and save for the future. But the minute the GM said, "Hey, we can get these Mexicans down here to work for less than half of what we're paying the Americans to do it," they did it, and it turned in. I mean, Flint, like I said, it's a ghetto, shitty area to live, and it's rampant with crime, rampant with drug abuse. It's rampant with anything that those people used to have is now gone. It's been passed down or sold or gone into foreclosure. And it's basically just become an area of a hustle, street hustle. It's propped up on drug dealing, prostitution, strip clubs, and things of that nature. There's nothing in Flint that brings the amount of jobs that Flint would need to rebound. They're trying to turn it into like a university, and I don't know why I'm making this about Flint. It was just an example. So imagine that you tell GM and you tell Ford and you tell Stellantis, Chrysler, that they got to move them plants back over into the United States, or they're going to get a 25% tariff, and nobody's going to buy their fucking cars because they're going to be way too expensive. They're already way too expensive. So now they're pulling them all back into the United States. So of course that's going to shock the market. It's a huge disruption. It's going to shock the market. Be expected to like see your stocks go down. But if you're smart, if you're a smart investor, you're not in the stock market to see what happens tomorrow. You're not in the stock market to see what happens 6 months from now. You're investing in the stock market to see what it does 10 years from now. And I can guarantee you, even if we go through a full-blown recession, if you just chill out, if you have the opportunity to buy the dips, buy in when it's low, because it always rebounds, and it will rebound. If you stick with this, man, and it rebounds, all of us can prosper and have a good life and go back to the American dream of what it used to be. But if you sit here and you question and you analyze, I mean, feel free to question, of course, but you spend 45, 50 days. Let it play out for a minute. A year from now, if we're all still broke, pissed off, and mad at one another, then okay, we're going to take a different look at this. You got to remember something. The people that elected Trump are common sense, critical thinking people. We're not stupid people. Like, we're just average, hardworking Americans that want the American dream. I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to be able to at least help send the stepdaughter to college and help pay for her if she wants to be a pilot. Help pay for her to fly. Provide these things as a man would want to do. She has her own dad, of course, and he provides, and he's a good man, and that's great. But also, I feel like everybody should want that, right? And I'm using that as an example because I feel like that could relate with a lot of people who do have kids. And if you're a man watching this, or even a single mom watching this, like, isn't that what you want? To be able to provide for your family? You don't want free checks from the government and to rely on this check that comes every week and food stamps and all that, and still have to pay taxes that are going to another country. Come on, man. I mean, this whole thing is just like, it's all common sense, right? So my point to this is, common sense people voted for Trump. If Trump fumbles this and completely fucks us over, trust me, we will be the first ones there to say, no, you promised one thing, you overpromised, underdelivered. If that happens, so far, it appears to me that the promises were made and the promises were kept. I know that it's been said a lot. It's a talking point. I get it, whatever. But it's true. So far, he's been keeping his promises despite the Democrats trying to stop him at every single turn. Lawsuits, federal judges that were appointed and put there and are activists and are fucking idiots. These people do not relate to you at all. They don't. Unless you're a billionaire yourself and you're for some reason watching this, and I don't know why you would. I don't have any subscribers anyway. I'm probably just talking to my fucking self. Regardless, though, if this ever gets seen and you're somebody who is an average American, Democrat or Republican, this is what you should want. Why would you want them to waste all of your money? You know, the 25 or 30% of your income tax goes straight to the federal government, and they shove it out the back door into their half goes into their pocket, half goes over to the the Taliban, or even over to Europe. Fuck Europe. I mean, come on, man. This shit is crazy. Let it play out. Just everybody relax. Let the shit play out. We'll see where it goes.
They called me, they asked me, they said, could they have a little bit of help? And I decided, they're American companies, USMCA, and
That's the point.
I let them have that.
American companies.
But this really kicks in the reciprocals, kicks in on, let's see, I guess the second. And I wanted it to be the first so badly. Just didn't want to be on April Fool's Day. I made it the second. That's going to cost a lot of money. That one day is going to cost a lot of money, but that's okay. But I don't see it. I don't see anything. I see good reports. I think we're going to have good numbers from the beginning. Now, globalists won't love this because this brings jobs back to America. So if they're coming back to America, maybe you'll lose some in other parts of the world. But the other parts of the world have done very well, and they'll continue to do very well. But I think the United States is going to be doing record business. We'll bring a lot of those 90,000 factories that have been lost over the last number of years. It's hard to believe. 90,000. Think of what 90,000 is. 90,000 plants and factories are gone. We're going to bring back many of those plants and factories.
One day the tariffs are on, the next day they're off. Right now, the markets, as you know well, prefer stability. Are you done going forward with the pauses and the carve-outs? Is that it for those?
There'll always be changes and adjustments, and you can't just. I could have, for instance, told the American car companies, "No, I'm not going to give you anything," and then you wouldn't have had to say, "Well, they're getting a little extra." It's just a little bit of a 1-month reprieve. They're very happy about what's happening. They won't have to go across borders, and you see the zigzag, and you have a fender made in Canada, you have something else made in Mexico. We don't want that. We want it made here. But there'll always be some modifications. I mean, if you have a wall in front of you, sometimes you have to go around the wall instead of through it. But I think very little. On occasion, if we can do something, we want to help companies. We want to help companies create jobs. So I could have left that, and you wouldn't have had a minor change. Instead, I was asked by the real majors, the big majors, if they could do this. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. I want you to produce a lot of jobs. And numerous of the people, actually all of the people I spoke to have already been, they're very much on the way to already doing it. That's why you have auto jobs increase. And the man, I don't know him, Sean Fain, I don't know him, and I did great, as you know, with the auto workers, with the Teamsters, with unions. I did fantastically well, best numbers ever by a Republican.
Right.
And I have a lot of respect for those people. But Sean Fain, who I don't know, but wasn't a supporter, although the auto workers were big supporters.
Yeah, that's because
I watched him last night, and he said Donald Trump is absolutely right on.
This Sean Fain is so these unions, they get a little bit ahead of themselves. That guy is, of course, he's not going to be a Trump supporter because, these unions have a lot of money. You pay union dues, and even though the GM, Ford, and Stellantis moved a lot of their plants to Mexico and abroad, they still have a few here, right? And by a few, I mean enough to employ probably hundreds of thousands of people. So there's a lot of money, and they pay union dues. There's a lot of money that goes into that union that he gets to allocate to different places, and he puts it in his pocket. A lot of it in his pocket. He gets paid a high salary to be the president of the union, and he doesn't have to work the factory line. He doesn't have to do anything with GM or any of that. He just runs the union. He's the president of the union. And then he's not the only one. There's members that go all the way down, right? Like president, vice president. I'm not sure that the pecking order, so to speak, but there's still like a hierarchy, right? And it branches out. So all those people need a salary. So when you get up to that level to where you're dealing with politicians and presidents and governors and things like that, you're going to vote or support or whatever in the way that you feel like is going to best interest you. So if Trump is trying to decrease your profit margins for a period of time, which is going to ultimately, it's going to affect your workers, it's going to affect your company, but it's only for a small period of time. You can build plants in the United States and hire American workers, and they will in turn buy your vehicles from you instead of buying Honda and Toyota, Mercedes and Volkswagen and all this trash. It used to be basically a fucking crime in Flint to have drive around in a foreign car. Like they used to spray paint your shit and fucking key your car. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that. I'm just saying it should be like that now without the destruction of property. You should look like an idiot driving a foreign car, or you should be exceedingly rich because they have 100%, 150% tariff in India, where you'll never see Chevrolets unless they're 100 years old or 40 years old. You'll never see Chevrolet. You'll never see GMC. You'll never see Cadillac. I mean, that's just the GM side. You'll never see Dodge or anything American over in like India because it's going to cost literally 100% more than what they already are. And brand new cars nowadays are anywhere from $50,000 to $90,000. So you're talking about $100,000 to $180,000 to get them in India. Nobody's going to do that. So the reciprocal tariff is gonna do the same thing. Now a Mercedes Benz that costs $80,000 to $90,000 to $100,000 is going to now cost $180,000 to $200,000. So nobody's going to buy that shit, right? They're going to stick with American cars that were built in America for Americans by Americans, and that's how the fuck it should be.
Tariffs. He said what he's doing on tariffs is an incredible thing.
Well, thank
And it's
God.
about time somebody had the guts to do it, because we're going to save auto manufacturing. And I said to people when I was campaigning,
said that.
you're going to have so many auto jobs, you're not going to believe what's going to happen. We're going to
Yeah,
load up
bring it
Michigan.
back,
I won the
man,
state of
bring it
Michigan,
back.
as you know. And part of the reason I won it, I got a lot of auto workers that voted for me. Detroit,
They used to be a dream. People used to get out of high school and go straight into GM. They didn't need college. They didn't need trade school. GM paid for all of that. You started off on the line and you worked your way up. And by the time that you were old enough to retire, you were an executive at GM, making around $150,000 to $200,000 a year. You had a huge pension, full retirement, 401k, stock options, discounts on vehicles, family discounts. I mean, the job made your life. And if your wife also worked there, even better. That you have a combined income of almost, 400 grand at the end of it, and at the beginning of it, you have a combined household income of over $100,000. I mean, how could you not want this? And it's not like it's impossible. They're just not doing it because the profit margins are so wide on these vehicles. If they're built in Mexico or if they're built in places where they can basically have, not basically, they do have extremely cheap labor, human rights violations, and all type of shit. And you know what? To be honest, I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about Chinese kids working on iPhones in China. I don't care about their human rights. I really don't. Fuck them. And fuck Mexico too, straight up. I want to hear for Americans to be able to put money into the economy so I don't have to work 80 hours a week to be able to comfortably feed and provide for my family, right? I want to be able to work 40 hours a week and do the same. Right now, I have to work close to 80. That's wrong. That's not okay. If I only worked half of that time, then we wouldn't be as comfortable. Then my wife would have to work constantly. We would never see each other. My dogs wouldn't get any. It probably sounds corny, but I love my dogs. My dogs wouldn't get any attention. They would just lay around the house bored all day. Her stepdaughter wouldn't get as much time with her and wouldn't have the access to her that she does now. They wouldn't have the connection that they do now. They'd miss out on a lot of time. That's what the American dream should be. You meet a woman, you either have a baby or don't, live the rest of your life together, combined income, and you buy a house together, and you go camping or you go skiing or you go to comedy clubs, whatever your thing is. You should be able to do that. We've lost that. We really have. People live paycheck to paycheck, and the only thing that makes you feel good is when something's on sale on Amazon, and you spend what you should be saving to invest on little trinkets and dumb shit on Amazon because it feels good to get those packages. It feels good to get something new. Look at this cool thing that I got for the moment. It's cool. Yeah, look at this fun thing I got. But it's hard to have foresight on something that's going to take 40 years in small increments. You invest $100 a month, and even just for most Americans, $100 a month is impossible. They're basically negative until they get their taxes back. Then they pay their credit cards off, and then it all starts over again. So, you know, to invest $100 to them and to see that turn into over a couple 100,000 over 30 years, it's just not something that they can visualize.
But I think people are going to be very surprised. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned in your remarks chips manufacturing, how a significant percentage is now in Taiwan. You also mentioned it in your address to Congress, and you called on Congress to overturn the CHIPS Act, which had bipartisan support in the last Congress. Why would you like to see this particular law overturned?
Why?
Because it's hundreds of billions of dollars and it's just a waste of money. Some people have already taken the money and used it. Actually, it's very hard to qualify because they go by race, they go by gender, they go by all sorts of things. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You won't be able to find those people. So I don't even think anybody can.
I'm a millennial, man. We grew up without, colorblind. We really did. You didn't have this rampant racism that you have now. But the blacks hate the whites, and then it's like we're all getting irritated because it's like, damn, what we do? We weren't slave owners. We were trying to get along. Everybody was cool like 15 years ago. But then you had this rampant, like, liberal, left-wing, extremist racism against white people. And now white people are starting to say, wait a minute, man, like, we're trying to be cool. We're trying to get along, but y'all keep just talking shit. So, stop talking shit. Like, this shit's not cool. Like, it didn't feel good when it was happening to you, right? So it doesn't feel good hearing it from other, like Jasmine Crockett, stupid ratchet hood rat bitch. Like, really, come on, bitch, talking shit about white people and how evil white racism. And the worst thing about that is that woman is educated. She's not stupid. I call her a stupid hood rat bitch because that's the way she acts on camera. She's not really like that. If you go back and look at her before she ran for Congress, she was well spoken, she was articulate, she wasn't ghetto, she wasn't trash. None of those things that I just stated. However, for some reason, when she got into the office and the camera started rolling, she started switching it up. There's another guy. He was a young black man, that very well spoken, very professional, very articulate. And then all of a sudden he gets voted into, I think he's a senator or something along the lines. I wish I had names for these people, but he turned the same way. Now he put on an afro wig and started talking like Richard Pryor, like preacher style, out of nowhere, because he's talking to a black community. Like, brother, you don't realize you're black. You don't need to sound black to be black. It's not even, it's so stupid. It is so incredibly fucking stupid. I can't get behind it. I can't understand it.
Qualify. They have so many different categories in order to qualify. You have to have so many of a certain race, a certain gender, a certain certain, and I don't think they can qualify, but if they take the money, they better qualify because they'll be watching them. But it's a tremendous waste of money. I didn't give the greatest chip company in the world, one of the greatest companies, I didn't give them 10 cents. They came here because of tariffs, because they didn't want to pay the tariffs. And they also came here because they like the results of the election, because they know that I'm very pro-business and pro-jobs. I mean, I'm pro-business, not for business sake. I'm pro-business because of jobs, because business is producing the jobs.
Okay? Right.
Russia, if I may, President Putin is bombing Ukraine.
Yeah.
Do you still believe him when he tells you that he wants peace?
Yeah, no, I believe him. I believe him. I think we're doing very well with Russia. But right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and I'm finding it more difficult.
And for real, fuck Ukraine. I mean, sorry, dude. I mean, right? Family first. Family first. Let me tell you something. As a man, you need to focus. You need to be first mentally there. You need to take care of your mental health, then your physical health, right? And then you can take care of all the other people. On the airplanes, when they drop the oxygen mask, you put yours on first, then you assist your family and then others around you. You apply the same principles at home. You need to take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health. Then you can take care of all the other people. and then everything else will fall in line. Then it branches out from there. From there, if you can take care of your family and provide for your family, and you're comfortable and your family's comfortable, and you have a little bit of extra money, then guess what? You can branch out into your community. Now you could start providing for your community and helping others in your community. And then once you've gone beyond that, then you can, if you want to, branch out beyond that. Help your state, help your country. It's not a hard principle to get behind, man. But for some reason, we have lost that, and it's the emotional blackmail that these pieces of shit try to do to you. If somebody's trying to emotionally blackmail you, you should automatically know that it's bullshit. They try to make you feel bad because 70,000 federal workers lost a job that they shouldn't have had in the first place, that they're getting paid with your tax money. So get another job like the rest of us, dude. If you were to lose your job tomorrow, if I would lose my job tomorrow, guess what I'd do? I wouldn't get on TikTok and cry. I'm going to go fucking look for a job. I don't got time to be on TikTok crying. I'm going to be on my phone looking at Indeed or ZipRecruiter or whatever, or going knocking on fucking doors. That's what you should be doing. Sitting there crying about it, how this is your dream job, and I lost my job. Get in line. Everybody that's 40 years old has probably lost their dream job at one point in time and had to find a new one. And if not, good for you. But if it happens to you, you don't go to TikTok and start crying about it, or Instagram and start crying about it. Blame the president and blame everybody else. Blame racism and blame this and blame that. And it's because they're black and they don't. Shut the fuck up. Get your ass off your ass. You're off the. Excuse me. Get your ass up off the couch. Delete TikTok. Delete all that bullshit. Download an Indeed. Download ZipRecruiter and get on there. Get your resume together. You already had a federal job. You already had a decent education and all that. Go put that to good use. Maybe GM's hiring. I don't know.
Frankly, to deal with Ukraine, and they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards.
They don't have the cards.
As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week.
They got aces over eights.
And we're talking. I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now. And I put a statement in, a very strong statement. Can't do that. We're trying to help them on the ball and get a job done. Michael, could you come up here? I see Michael back there.
All right, this is what we really want.
Good, I'm glad. He's traveling all over the world. I just saw him come in the door. Could you give a little definition of what's going on, please?
Sure. Well, the president has been crystal clear, and he's been clear to all sides. The fighting has to stop. Both sides need to get to the table. We had a good engagement. Both leaders have said.
Look at this scar. Look at this skybox, dude. Look, I mean, come on, man. How could you not like? I get it. Yeah, some of you women out there, he reminds you of your husbands or ex-husbands or whatever. And okay, he's a little bit narcissistic. He's kind of a dick. But I mean, who would you rather have? Really, who would you rather have? Would you really rather have Kamala Harris in there, or some other idiot just pretending to be president? He's actually being president. He's actually executing or being executive. I don't know how to put it into words, but anyway, he's actually doing his job as the president in the executive branch. He's executing orders. He's governing. He's actually shaking shit up, man. We've been wanting this for years. And just because you don't like him, if you replaced him with Kamala Harris, or if you replaced him with any other Democrat, you guys would be cheering this shit on. Think about that for a minute, man. Why do you let people live in your head rent free? That is so crazy to me that you would disregard the message completely because of the person that is sending the message. Block that shit out. Listen to the message.
Only President Trump could do so, and only he has been able to do so. We had an initial engagement with the Russians. The Ukrainians had a great opportunity to bind our economies together through that mineral deal.
They're going to be tough.
Unfortunately, that didn't go so well, but we think we're going to get things back on track. Secretary Rubio, myself and the Ukrainian delegation will be meeting in Saudi Arabia next week to get these talks back on track, get the ceasefire in place, and drive peace home under President Trump's leadership.
Spurred. I guess. All right. Yeah. So this bitch here. Listen to this.
But the people, if you really want to know who the in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists.
Let me make sure y'all got the facts. Most extreme crimes that take place.
Do you know any white supremacists, bro? Come on with this. This is so fucking dumb. I did 12 years in Michigan prison. There was no whites, none. If the only one place that you would think there'd be white supremacists, there would be in the joint, right? And I was in Michigan prison for a long time. I did many years in there, calendar years. There was like one or two on the yard. And most of the time, most of the yards you went to, there was none, fucking none. But you know what there was? A lot of NOI, Nation of Islam, black racist against white, all kill whitey, but they were powering down sissies in the bathroom, fucking white boys, fucking little white sissies. That's okay, they can do that, but they can kill whitey and hate on whitey, right? This shit's so fucking astronomically nuclear fucking stupid. It is mind-blowing that anybody believes this. And for her to stand up here and say that 80% of the violent crime in America comes from white supremacists is a fucking nuclear lie, bro. Like it's so far beyond the truth that it's the only reason to watch this is for comedy, because it is so ridiculous.
In this country are committed by white supremacists.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
80%.
Google
If you really want to know who the
Google right now where violent crime history in the United States. I can guarantee you that 80% of the crime isn't, not even 20% of the crime is committed by white supremacists. That is a ridiculous statement made by a Texas Democrat member of Congress.
criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists.
Let me make sure y'all got the facts. Most extreme crimes that take place in this country are committed by white supremacists. 80%.
Yeah. If you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you don't have to trust.
We need to be courageous. They come after Elon Musk and Donald Trump. They call me a criminal. They call me a traitor. Line come after me to try to intimidate me, to create fear.
Nobody's intimidating.
I'll tell you my response.
We're just telling you you're wrong. You're dumb as fuck. Why are you not behind the Department of Government Efficiency? That's like the MAGA thing. Why would you not want to make America great again? Why would you not want a Department of Government Efficiency, seeing how the government is so inefficient? I own a trucking company, right? It is completely baffling to me the amount of hoops that I have to jump through from the state level all the way through the federal level. There is like probably 15 steps between me buying a truck and getting it road legal, putting a driver in it, getting it insured, getting it the URCs and the IFTA and everything figured out, log books and electronic logs and brokers and everything of the sort, and getting your authority. Literally, it takes money, time, and unnecessary steps, and it's extremely inefficient. And at the end of the day, everybody wants a piece of the pie, which decreases my profit margins dramatically. And this is insane. And this could all be taken care of. The fact that fuel is so high, if I just got 50 cents off a gallon of fuel, say that diesel fuel went down 50 cents a gallon, right? No bullshit. That would save me $200 a week per truck. And I have 3. $600 a week, $2,400 a month. Right? $2,400 a month. That would save me just 50 cents off a gallon. You get it down to $1 a gallon, that doubles. That's an extra $5,000 profit that a trucking company can make a month. You know what that means? That means I can pay my drivers more. I can offer better health care. I can offer to put in or match 401k. This benefits everybody. This for this asshole to get on here and act like people are trying to intimidate you, bro. We don't need to intimidate you. Look at you. You look like a bitch to begin with. No one needs to intimidate you. We're just trying to let you know you're dead ass wrong. And when it's everybody telling you you're dead ass wrong, you're dead ass wrong. Period, dude. It's called objective truth.
My response to that is screw you and the horse you rode in on.
Yeah, like come on.
I hope that is your response too.
No.
We must not give in to this climate of fear. We are Americans. If our troops can face the bullets and the missiles and the dangers of combat, then sure enough, we can be at home.
Shut the fuck up.
My intentionality was to walk out. I gathered my coat.
This is a clown. Breaking, many Dems now leaning towards Harris. Hey, Harris. That would be hilarious. Yeah, let's let Kamala Harris run for fucking president again. Jesus Christ. These people haven't learned a fucking thing, bro. Not a thing. Let's refresh this. Let's Tucker Carlson. If you're unvaccinated, how many times you got sick with COVID? Dude, let the COVID shit go. I love Tucker, but man, let that shit ride. Jesus, ew. Oh God, this clown.
Run.
Oh yeah.
On 3 core issues.
Let me hear it.
They are on the run in terms of the economy.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, Donald Trump and Republicans are,
because the economy wasn't shit before, right? I'll tell you what, in my household, nothing has changed. It's still shit. It's been shit for 3 years and continuing to be shit. It's not changed. It hasn't gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. It's just still shit. So what? You created the economy, you dumb fuck. This guy's a fucking flaming fucking idiot. Flaming fucking idiot. He's the one who wrote the script of the 22 Democrats talking all at the same time, sitting down at the same time, all the edits and cuts and verbatim words, all the way down to them all holding like the little mini microphone. Just, you know, orchestrated propaganda.
are crashing the economy in real time.
It's going to rebound.
Donald Trump gave one of the most divisive speeches by a president in American history.
Not true. I don't know if you guys watched that speech. Not divisive at all. He invited them into it. He even said, I hope that we can all get behind this. Even you guys on the left side of the aisle, the Democrats, we should all want to make America great again. This is all something that we should get behind. He even said, there's nothing that I could do to make you stand up, clap, or cheer for me. And he is absolutely right, because everything that he's doing right now, these people should be for. They should be for, and I don't even like bringing up their 13-year-old kid, but fuck it. They should be for their 13-year-old kid with brain cancer, even though that was all an optics game, whatever. But still, it goes to show you that no matter what Trump does, they will never support him, even if it is in the best interest of the American people. And because that's exactly what he's doing. And I have my theories on why these people are fighting so hard. The only logical reason that they are fighting this hard against this is that they are fucking balls deep in corruption and they're about to get found out. And I hope they do. I'm here for it. I really am.
100 minutes. And he barely spent any time on the economy. Why? Because it's collapsing on his watch.
It's not collapsing.
They made promises with respect to lowering costs. Costs aren't going down.
It takes time. It's been 45 days.
They're going up. Inflation is going up. You know what's coming down? Donald Trump's poll numbers.
No, they're not.
Because he is mismanaging the economy.
Bro, this guy is outright lying. What the fuck is he talking about? I know this was recent because his speech was like 2 days ago. This is crazy. He got a 76% approval rating. I don't know. I don't talk to anybody that doesn't like Trump. Anybody. And I'm a truck driver. I have conversated with many people, many people throughout my routes and interactions and stuff from all forms of life, black or white, since everybody wants to make it into a race thing when it's really just a class thing. But black, white, Hispanic, whatever, poor, rich, middle class, drug addicts, people in prison, on parole, all walks of life. Literally, everybody approves of what Trump's doing. Everybody approves of what Elon Musk is doing. I haven't heard a single fucking person not. And I think the people that disagree with it are either brainwashed and they've been led astray, or they know exactly what they're doing and they have an agenda. And this man fits that category to the latter.
The American people are feeling it. And we're just at the 45-day mark.
We
have them on the run in terms of healthcare, particularly as it relates to Medicaid. House Democrats stand on the side of Medicaid and the American people. Republicans are trying to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history.
Because you have people that are on Medicaid that are 150 years old. There was even one person that was 300 years old. That's it. It's really that simple. It really is. They're not taking anybody's Medicaid. Can you imagine the optics? Think for a second. Can you imagine the optics? If they're doing this, show me the evidence. You show me the evidence that you show me people that have gotten their Medicaid taken, and I will fucking retract this shit.
And we need to keep the pressure on them legislatively and in communities all across
this guy's
the country.
Evil piece of shit.
And partnering with you, we will be able to continue
evil piece of shit
to do that. And we have them on the run with respect to the GOP tax scam.
What?
Where they want to cut Medicaid, cut nutritional assistance for children and families, cut veterans benefits, and potentially cut
he's reading from a script.
Social Security benefits by trying to decimate the Social Security Administration. We have to continue to call them out on their extremism. We will do that.
Yeah.
And all of that is being done in service of trying to pass massive tax breaks.
Yeah, because you're stealing.
For their billionaire donors like Elon Musk and wealthy corporations. So we have them on the run.
You don't.
And we're going to keep our foot.
What the fuck?
We've been joined by...
The man we spoke with is a U.S. citizen. The man we spoke with is a U.S. citizen of his legal status. He says this experience has shaken his faith in the immigration enforcement efforts of President Donald Trump, for whom he voted, he says. This is what Yenzi Machado managed to record on his phone Wednesday. He says while he was driving to work with two other men, he was stopped by ICE agents on Lamont Drive in Manassas, a short distance from his home. He says he was confused by what was happening, why agents surrounded the pickup truck. He spoke with our sister station, Telemundo 44 reporter Rose Belis Quinones, who was the first to report his story.
And they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window. And, everything was really fast.
Machado says the agents said the name of a man they were seeking for a deportation order, someone who had given Machado's home address. He said that was not his name, and he did not know anyone by that name. He offered to show them this, his real ID compliant Virginia driver's license. It has a star in the upper right corner and requires proof of lawful status.
They didn't ask me for any ID. I was telling the officer.
Okay, well, he's not in jail,
ID, but he said that just keep my hands up, not moving. And then after that, he told me to get out of the car, and then he put the handcuffs on me. And then he went to me and said, how did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And I told him I was an American citizen. And he looked at his other partner like, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? Because he asked the other guy, do you believe him?
Machado said he was uncuffed and immediately released after showing his driver's license. The two men with him were taken into custody. He does not know why. The incident has caused...
There you go. There it is. There's the meat of it. He had two illegal immigrants with him. Dude, you're not in jail. You're a U.S. citizen. You got let go. I can't even tell you how many times I've been in handcuffs and been let go after they figured something out. It sucks. I'm sorry that happened to that man, but it is what it is, man. I mean, it's but don't forget who put us in this position. Don't forget what Biden did the last 4 years and fucking lied about it the entire time. Don't forget about that shit. Look at this crazy shit. Good. Leave America. Bye. Out of here. Out of here. That's about it, guys. That's about it, man. Final thoughts are, I don't, who knows? No one's gonna see this anyway. But just let it happen. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't be mad at the messenger. If you don't like the person sending the message, just block that shit out. Hear the message. Listen to the message. That's all you gotta do. Some of you probably don't like me. Sometimes my girl don't like me. Who knows? I don't even like me sometimes, but I got some decent messages sometimes. Grab him by the pussy.